this little old town, you've been getting around, knocking on every man's door. Word on the streets that you've been cheating on me. You ain't worth the time anymore. So bad, you're so sad. You turn around and you do it again. How many lies, how many times, how many tears must I cry? How many days and how many ways, how many men can you break? Oh baby, how many men can you break?
Oh, Saturday morning. Welcome, everyone. Mr. Legendary JB, John Boston. Who else we got? I'm just dusting here for a second. We've got Trogue, Mr. Jerron Markel, JW, D-Man, BJ, and all the others that might be listening. Got a good one for you today. The 12 signs of monkey branching and what men can do to handle it. The first 12 signs we'll go through today. Had a great Thanksgiving. Thanks, John Boston. Made my own turkey. Let's see, what else? Handmade mashed potatoes, stuffing, cranberry sauce. Wonderful garlic, butter, green beans, some broccoli, rolls, salad, and a pumpkin cheesecake dish. Very good. Major Tom, good to see you. But let's get into it. The 12 signs of monkey branching and what to do about it. Well, let's get into the monkey branching. Monkey branching can happen. Typically, we're not going to go through the personality trait of the woman that's more likely to, but you get an idea of who these women are that monkey branch. Most of them have a narcissistic personality, very ego-driven. Okay. A lot of monkey branching. Yes, there is a bigger and better aspect to it, but a lot of it is to inflate their ego and to continue with the ego. Hoes can't let go of one branch until the other is secure. Well said. Number one, it satisfies their inflated ego. Number two, it refuels their narcissistic supply. And here's something shocking. It's a game to them. Literally, taking a man's feelings, jumping to the next branch is like a game to him with no regards to what impact that could have on a potential partner. Number four, opportunism. Number five, the fear of being alone. They're terrified of being single. So they, as Jerron Markel said, they've got a branch waiting in the wings. They have an anxious or avoidant attachment style. Makes sense. They're impulsive, which means they're horrible with money and decisions. Okay, those are just some, right? Those are the seven why they monkey branch. Okay, so we all knew that. They're looking for the bigger, better. They're looking for opportunity. It comes along. They don't want to be alone. Knowing that Their opportunity with the man they're with is falling apart. They are going to wait to secure a new man. These hoes have no empathy towards men. You're not wrong, Jerron. Betty's in the chat. Good to see you. And we'll get into that. D-Man hits it on one of the signs. So those are the reasons why women do it. But what are the signs? What can a young man, and I was just talking to one of my good friends, 20-year-old son, just got monkey branched, and he is in a world of pain right now. His dad understands a little bit about this, but this is the first time this kid has been monkey branched. He's 20 years old, which the good thing about it is he's young enough to learn about it. The bad thing is his emotional confidence right now is so in the trash, he can make really bad decisions, which could impact his life. True, women always feel they deserve more, even when you're a Tom Brady. Giselle wanted an upgrade. Didn't she upgrade to the personal trainer? I just don't know how that was an upgrade. But you're right. If you're married, your wife has a backup plan. Ooh, mine did. Number one, they're flirtatious. Monkey branchers are notorious for flirting, often in front of their partners. If you see this, that is a sign. Number two, they are overprotective of their phone. They will not allow you to see what's on their screen, what messages are coming through. They're very sneaky. They get defensive when you ask, why are you on your phone so much? Or why are you texting so much? Attaboy. You got you got two of them right. Number three, they spend a shit amount of time on their phone. If your partner begins to suddenly start texting more or on social media more or taking more calls or going to the other room to talk about it, my mom's calling, something's going on with my sister at 2 a.m. Okay. Number four, they still have dating apps. I remember I was hanging out with a gal, 4 years ago, and I could care less. I heard her Bumble going off at all minutes of the night, and I could care less because I was the one that was next to her, and I knew it was only a 1-2 punch. My ex would hide her phone, and when I would see her using it, she would put her phone up to her chest to hide the screen. Mine as well, John. Megatron, good to see you. Number five, they spend more time away from the house. Well, this is a given. Monkey branchers will find more times to be out of the house. They suddenly want to go to the gym more, or they're going after work with their coworkers on a hike, which they've never hiked before. Mine did that. We're going on a hike after work. Really? At 5 o'clock when you're really tired, you're going to go on a hike? There you go. King Kong ain't got schlit on her feelings, says Bookshelf. Well said, brother. Good to have you. Ever notice how these 304 phones are always dead and they need to charge her phone with their charger? Yes. How to handle it, go your own way and be free. Don't co-sign the effery. We'll get to that. Well said, D-Man. They go out with their friends more without you. That's another sign. Girls' night out. Right? So if they start hanging out more, or they're going to bands that they've never been into, we're going to see this band, me and my coworkers. Hike after work sounds like a dare. There you go. Grocery shopping 5 times a week. Yep. Most women like to go to the store twice a week. At least my wife did. Stop sleeping with you. That's a telltale sign. My ex told me she was going to hang out with friends. Turns out she was just banging a dude. Troke, you're not alone, brother. Wolf King, they criticize the shit out of you after not seeing them for a while. A long distance relationship. Good to see you. FUE, fraud, usury, and extortion. Ho, dating strategies. Well said. Here's an interesting one. Number 7, they accuse you of cheating. The pot calling the kettle black. This is a very tough. If they bring up cheating, or lots of people are cheating today, that's a huge sign. Mine did that, and I knew something was up. At this point, the marriage was pretty much toast. I don't shop for processed food, no additives even. There you go. And she says he's just a friend. Yep, mine said that. They are increasingly private and secretive. Does your partner leave for long periods of time without telling you where they're going? Do they make plans with friends and speak vaguely about what they did? That's another big sign. Their behavior changes. Number 9. Behavior changes. When they start criticizing you, they have made you into the bad guy in their mind to justify their actions. It's a way to sabotage. Timmy Kramer, as 55-year-old Scottsdale divorcee, is waist deep in debt and on the hunt for her next provider husband. Be careful, men. The Forever Bachelor, TC. Well, yes, I remember being accused of my phone being so clean. A response, there's nothing suspicious on phone. You are cheating on me. There you go. When she accuses you of cheating, that is projecting her insecurity. Yet it's a telltale sign that she's thinking about it or most likely doing it with somebody else. Sister got pissed today, dinner at Dad's. I told her she was too masculine. Chad chaser. The show Cheaters seemed fake until dating apps came out. I remember that. Number 10, they start pulling away emotionally. If you feel your partner pulling away physically and emotionally, it may be a sign your relationship is at its near end. That's exactly what happened in my case. Right? When she says Tinder is not a dating site. Well, I'm on Tinder to meet new friends, to go hiking with, because my partner, my husband, my boyfriend, he's abusive and controlling, and I need to find people that aren't abusive. Right there. They say if they are pulling away emotionally and physically, they are 70% sure they do not want to be with you. I would say it's 90%. When they want to keep a roster of guys, there you go, just in case. They've got back burners, folks. They got back burners. Talk shows are targeting females like magnets, says Mega. When she says, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, that's exactly what happened to me, man. It's a good TV show. CJ's back in the house. Just act really nice. They will leave you alone. Number 11, they appear to sabotage. This is something that's very common. They will sabotage the relationship. If your partner's been exhibiting one or more signs on the list and is now picking fights, they might be at the end of monkey branching. See, what this does is kind of gives them the validation that their monkey branching is okay. They begin to start fights with you out of nowhere or bring up shit that doesn't matter. They want you to react so they can say, I'm done with you. And then the segue into their new guy will be easier and smoother if they're in a fight, right? They can just say, we're done. We fight too much. It's over. I don't love you. And it gives them an excuse. When I was younger, I really believed the crying game. I think a lot of us did, brother. He wasn't meeting my needs. There you go. There's another one. Now, here's the 12th one. They have a lot of exes. If your partner is rarely single, there's another sign of potential monkey brancher. Do they have lots of exes? Do they small gaps between relationships? My sister is classic of this. She can't go a day without being in a relationship. And she monkey branched her husband. Big Chris, I almost wish Kamala would have won because once again, the men of America are going to step up and save women from themselves just to have women accuse. Well, yeah, if she would have won, she would have been on the narrative that all men are evil. We need to make women great again, all that stuff. I remember I dated a girl with a 4-burner phone. It didn't click to me until I noticed the color of the cases on these phones were different. There's another sign. I told you, Wolf, to cut your beard. You don't listen. I'm calling my mom to send you back home. There you go. True story. Big World from Vietnam. Just read the article about 30-year-old Jersey City woman expecting the guy to pay for her $100 Uber to Manhattan for their first date. Men are doing that, Big World. A lot of simp men will do that. They'll pay for the babysitter. Major Tom says exes, they come back. The majority do. Don't fall for the fake Richard Simmons bloodcock crime. There you go. Now, what to do if your monkey branches? Here's my situation. If you find out she's monkey branching, you leave. You do radio silence. You're done with her. You file for a divorce. You exit. You don't talk to her anymore. You cut it off. If a woman if there is any sign of her monkey branching, now this is never going to affect me ever again. But if it did, and if men are listening to this that are might be in relationships, and you find out you're done, if you take her back, that's worse than taking an ex back, even if you're in a relationship. Most men, there are men that take their exes back, but the relationship's been over 6 to 12 months or whatever, and they allow them back in. And if you're in a relationship where you're living under the same roof or are very serious with this person and you find out and you stay with her, that's even worse. That's not even eating yesterday's garbage. That's eating yesterday's garbage, your neighbor's garbage, stranger's garbage. You have it. You'd get the hell out of it. Now, this is what it says here. Number one, know that it's not your fault. Okay. Well, there are women that do monkey branch. That's just part of their biology and DNA. There are men that monkey branch too. But this is about women. The ego of women thinking they can come back into your life after effing you up badly. Yeah, a lot of them want to come back so they get you. A lot of them like to come back when you're in a relationship with somebody. They want to win again. It has nothing to do with you. They just want to win. They'll stay with you for 2 weeks. All the same issues will come up, and then it'll be over again. Number two, decide if it's worth confronting them. No, don't even confront a woman that's monkey branching you. Why? Gives them more power. See, men don't understand this. Let's see, what does Ron say? Never take an ex back. Never. I learned the hard way, almost fought and got killed over it. Woo. Glad you're here, brother. Arvero, you can't fix the past. No, you can't. Good to see you, brother. Don't sign cucketry. Says D-Man, we are not dating any longer. Her dumbass calling me arguing while surviving in an inner city shelter. They'll do whatever they can to allow the validation of their monkey branching. They'll get you into a fight. They'll say some stuff that you are not for them. They love you, but they're not in love. Anything they can do to get you to react, to give them more fuel. I always thought I was always to blame. Maybe if I were not disabled, maybe if I were American and not an immigrant, maybe I've spent more money. Well, all the maybes, brother, we've all been there. Men are allowed to spread their seed and females have to protect their chastity. Dan Patrick, good to see you. I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley for the win. Why would you fight to keep a 304 in your life? Now, the third one, there's 4 of them. End the relationship. I would say that's the only thing you find you do. You end it and you don't talk anymore, ever. That ego will deflate, but you will win in the end. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Number 4, take time to heal. This is a good sign that most men will not do. If they get monkey branch, the first thing they want to do, they're going to feel the pain. Most men, let's just talk on the 98% of men that aren't in this space. Big world, the juice is not worth the squeeze, well said. Most men will try to win the woman back, try to be Mr. Nice Guy, try to show her how much he loves her so she doesn't continue with the new guy. Or she'll monkey branch and leave, and he'll try to find a relationship to replace her as soon as possible, which he doesn't have time to figure out, to understand the mechanics of the relationship. And he's going to get back into a relationship, for the most part, not all, that's probably going to be the same, if not worse. John Boston, when a woman files for divorce and uses the popo and child custody case, you have to wonder how many of those women have another guy on deck. That guy is a total loser. Do not be that guy. Bingo. Well said, brother. It happens when a man is at his lowest point in life and dates. Never again. Yeah. A lot of men are so low at this point that they will get in horrible contracts. Again, just so someone will pat them on the head. Just so that they will get off the thinking of another, of the woman that monkey branched. I did tooth and nail primarily for my kids, fighting to keep 304 while she was gone a long time ago. There you go. I think most smart women, most smart common sense men are coming back to a clear mindset regarding these 304s. I think men are waking up, Jerron. The cup of tea isn't worthy of a cookie dip. That sounds like something Rumi would say, the great philosopher from Persia. They came back when you're doing well or when you're moving on, says Brian Guzman. Yep, there's an energy. I believe that there is an invisible energy they feel. Once you've got to that point where you're done with them for good, and you don't think about them, you at that point when you've moved on, that energy, they get it. See, most women, most exes want their exes to think and beg for them back. They want them to cry at night. They want to be sitting on a shelf till it's their time to be pulled off again by the woman. Just like Forrest Gump. Jenny dumped Forrest Gump, rode the cock carousel, and in the end, he was waiting for his chance with Jenny. I'm gonna find Jenny again. Jenny. And he goes back. He was waiting for his time. So much better to be alone, John Markel. I have a girl, but I still feel single and free. Again, separate residences, separate lives, separate opportunities. Come together if you want. Know the risks and the rewards. Timmy Kramer, my Uncle Leo was shot and blanked at a wedding of all places. Jeez. Tried breaking up a fight over a woman. His brother Bill was the one who warned me at 18. Never. Oh, dang. That sounds like something out of Chicago's Al Capone era. Damn. I just have some tea right here. A nice green tea. But I'm fasting too. I like peppermint and I like licorice tea. I told my ex she never learned the single woman will make married women single. She said nothing, and then she said, "You are right." Doesn't it feel good to be right? But you don't have to say, "Yep, I told you so." You just know. And Jenny gave him AIDS and a kid, says Jerome. There you go. And he took her back. Free slave mind. Forrest should have run fast from Jenny. Well, he was waiting for his turn, as most simps do. CJ, they can't make their own energy. It's metaphysics. Men are connected to source. Ooh, quantum physics, the ultimate field, the quantum field. I love it. I stayed until my kids were a little older, lived by myself in an addition I had built on my house, but the marriage was dead for years. Most marriages have been dead for years. I would say on average 5 to 7 years before the divorce is instigated, at least in my case. My sister hates me, is jealous because I've gained my power back and footing. She is a narc like my dad. Cut all toxic people out of your life, Wolf, as I'm sure you have. Joseph Hoffman, AIDS and a kid. That's a great deal, guys. He was waiting for his time when Jenny would pluck him off the shelf, like Elf on a Shelf. It's really that simple, folks. So those are the 12 signs. We'll go through them again just real quickly. Number one, we have to understand, to them, it's a game to them. They use it because they have very dark triad traits, borderline personality. Here we go. Number one, they're flirtatious. Number two, they're overprotective of their phone. Number three, they spend more time on their phone. Number four, they still have dating apps. Number five, they spend more time away from the house. Number six, they go out with friends more without you. Number seven, they accuse you of cheating. Number eight, they are increasingly private and secretive. Number nine, their behavior changes. Number 10, they start pulling away. Number 11, they appear to sabotage the breakup, to the relationship, to force a breakup. Number 12, they have lots of exes. Just like a notebook. Sympedemic. There you go. Know your enemies. Rage against the machine. Yeah, go read Sun Tzu's The Art of War, because it applies to relationships. Most simps are always waiting for the village doorknob hoe. Everyone's had a turn. Everyone wants a bike ride on that village bicycle. Poor guys who have ended their lives over some sadistic, narcissistic women, says Free Slave. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate issue. The guys that have taken themselves. I wish they would have known this stuff. Good to see David Smith. Glad you just jumped in for a second. Rad, you ever miss banging your favorite ex? Sometimes the best bangs. I've entertained that, but I don't know if I miss it. Maybe it was more customary. Good to see SCE, my master wrench. Hoes pull away, simps don't pull out. There you go. That makes massive sense. I love her. I'm in love. I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her. One of my exes moved herself and her kids away from the ex, and he followed but never saw his kids. He took some sleeping pills with a plastic bag over his head. Oh, gosh. I have seen more men delete themselves when they cannot see their kids due to the court and the woman syndrome. The women keep alienating the kids. It is disgusting. If a man did that, he'd have 4 SWAT vehicles around his house if a man wouldn't allow the woman to see the kids. You see how that works? And we're told that we're toxic. I miss it. When I think about it, would have ended up bad. You miss your ex. There are certain women in my life that have had an impact, but we don't reflect on that. It's just what it is. That's just part of life. Those are the chapters in my book, Life Story, and we move forward. I was monkey branched. I was monkey branched in high school. My girlfriend, the one this is one that I still have a tenderness for, in a way. She was the first woman that I felt that I loved. I was in 10th grade. She was a senior. Oh man, I was that guy. I love her and she loves me and there's nothing you can do. You can tell me. There you go. She's not like the rest. We're going to have an amazing deal. Thanks, Bookshelf, for being here. Best advice I ever heard in high school. Never sweat any girl. Now it's called simping, being a sucker. Oh yeah. My 14-year-old son, he never even heard me say simp. He's like, yeah, he's my buddy. He was hanging out with this kid named Alex. I'm like, where's Alex? I haven't seen him for a while. Oh, Dad, he's a total simp for these girls. And I'm like, wow. Facts, Rad. We have to live to fight another day. I was monkey branched in high school. She ended up divorced with 3 kids and is fat now. There you go. What she did is after graduation, she was getting very distant from me probably 2 weeks before she graduated. And 3 days after she graduated, she left. She just completely got up and left. Didn't hear from her for 12 months. Talk about being ghosted on. She went back to her ex-boyfriend that lived 3 hours away. And then a year later, she reached out and she came back. And she's like, I made the worst mistake. By this time, I was becoming a senior in high school. And I had ladies lined up. And I was like, whatever. And she tried to fight for me back. Again, as anybody said, most exes will come back. My buddy Bob, who was in high school, football star, married Lisa, the cheerleader. Marriage, had 2 kids, and one day she decided her construction worker husband wasn't good enough for her. Oh, those boyfriend and girlfriends in high schools, they never end up. There was one that's on 48 Hours, national news in Colorado. They were sweethearts in high school, moved to Colorado, and he deleted her. And then it's in the news right now, Susan somebody. But it was because she was leaving him. She started making changes, started getting in, hanging out with different people, and basically was rekindling with an old boyfriend. So the husband deleted her. Well, he says he didn't. It'll play out in court. Her friends and family, big signs too. If her mother's divorced, like my ex-mother, most of her friends are single, divorced. Yep. Birds of a feather flock together, Betty. My buddy Kurt lit himself on fire the day the judge finalized the divorce. The pain that a lot of these men have gone through. Can you imagine how much pain your buddy must have been in, Timmy, to do that? Man, that's almost sending a gnarly message. It's not about him leaving this mortal coil. It's sending a message to her. Wow. The Room is a great example of how a guy worships simps on his fiancée, Lisa, who cheats on him and ruins his life. There you go. Yeah, anyone see Nocturnal Animals with Jake Gyllenhaal? Was it Jake Gyllenhaal? That's a very interesting story. Never put ecstasy in the X. There you go, SCE. I actually experienced a veritable female predator one time when I was 25. She had a personality disorder. She fabricated a fake pregnancy test to extort me for abortion money. A buddy of mine's son went through the exact same thing. The chick tried to say she was pregnant, but she wasn't. She wanted her to marry him. They found out it was a total lie. We don't forget them, do we, Timmy? Women don't care. They really don't. They don't have, a lot of them don't care when they monkey branch. They're done. Their emotions will lead their way. It's as simple as that. Once they're driven by their emotional guidance system. If the emotional guidance system says they don't like you, that gives them freedom and a no guilt way to move forward. See, women don't feel guilt like men do. The pain a lot of these guys have gone through and warning me about it. Thank you. I think a lot of men have been helped, even those that have been through divorce, realizing it is not, it's not something to try again. But anyhow, I will put that link in the chat or in the video so you guys can go read that article. I was motivated. I was monkeyed by my first. She was very attractive, cheated on me with a Navy guy. Now she's fat on her second sim. Yeah, it doesn't end well for these women that constantly monkey brands. They end up alone, angry, thousand cock-eyed stare. This is such a tragedy that is everywhere in the West, and no one notices. Like, when imagine if genders were reversed. My known man killed himself, father of 4 kids. A lot of guys have. I know 4 of my friends have self-deleted based on a woman. They use you for what they need and then move on. I'm done. I'm totally done, says Mike. Well said, brother. Good to see you. I'll never get attached to anyone again. Well, you have to understand the mechanics of attachment. They're just chemicals. Same chemicals you experience when your favorite sports team wins a championship. I have not met a woman who is divorced over the age of 40 and is living her best life. I'm living my best life. You go, girl. Eat, pray, love. The reason I left my husband, he was abusive and controlling and abusive. Too bad we weren't trained as dating commandos and how to deal with bitches. The MGTOW stuff is amazing and life-saving. Well, I think men used to teach young men about women. It was 100 years ago when they went to the fields and worked with their fathers after 7th grade. And they were taught how to deal with women. They were taught a stoic lifestyle. But all ended when all the field jobs went to the factories and men left the houses and worked all day. And the kids were raised by their mothers and educated by women in school. It was a weird ending. You have to understand the ending, Rich, of that movie. There's two fascinating endings. Well, we could talk about that offline. You guys are awesome. You provide a great place here, Rad. Thanks for being here, Joseph. Appreciate your perspective and everyone's perspective. I have good friends who glorify the red pill mentality and the sovereignty that goes with it. I think, to me, it's just a way of living. Do I want peace, quiet, and freedom in my life, or do I want the opposite? And if I want peace, quiet, and freedom, then I have to literally understand relationships. I have to understand men and women. I have to understand the government intervention, education intervention, religious intervention. And I have to say, look, I don't want to live a life full of guilt and frustration. I want peace, quiet, and freedom. What's the quickest way to get there? Well, for me, it's not to be attached to any sort of woman. That's going to remove 90% of it. And people go, oh, these MGTOWs are incels. They're just fat, baldless guys. Well, the reality is we don't see a more peace, quiet, and more free frontier if it happens to deal with relationships. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. If you feel like you can have peace, quiet, and freedom in a relationship, more power to you. More power to you. Mega says, I'm done with dating. Romantic love to me was just a phase. Romantic love is just lust. There's no such thing. CJ, you are called purple pill if you try to use the red pill to navigate the blue pill world. There you go. Trog, those 1 or 2% likely in relationship, the dating market is just the remaining slop. Well, all the good guys are taken. That's what they say. Beware of infatuation and smitten. Yep. Well said, Arvero. Exactly that. Rad, as children, they learn on how to emotionally manipulate their fathers. Yes, they do. So by the time they become teens, they have had practice and are using them to manipulate. Well, my daughter did it. She, at 4 years old, knew how to manipulate her dad with her tears. Michael Reitel, good to see you, brother. So, Rad, I'm thinking next year I might start my own channel now that Trump's in office and I'll be making more money. Good. I will plug your channel, brother. Not an incel here. I can get sex if I want to, but I just can't anymore. Well, once you've had enough of it, you realize what's behind it. Now, you understand, right? El Padrino, good to see you out of Chicago. Good morning to you. I need emotional attachment, and every woman I have pursued just pulls back from that. So I don't care anymore. And women, again, they're run by their emotional guidance system. And when that emotional guidance system says they're done with you, they're done with you. Could be the first minute, the first year, the first lifetime. El Padrino, Far From Eden, is that what you're talking? I've never seen that. I've heard a few people have mentioned her. I can't deal with them. Oh, most men can't deal with women. We're opposite. Men and women are very different people. It's as simple as that. Our brains do not run like theirs, and theirs do not run like ours. It's very challenging to maintain relationships. Based on that, most men think they can change a woman's brain. They can't. Most women have more success changing a man to get to that man to do what they want, to be the house husband, to be the chore man, to be the, you're a good boy, I'll give you a little poontang tonight. Doesn't work the other way. Unless you ask the red pill pickup guys, just hold frame, bros. You need frame, man. Set your boundaries and hold frame. She cast a spell on her ex-husband, which worked, then said she was matched with a guy on a date who was a registered blank. Damn. I'm telling you, there's power in thought. I'll tell you that. Diablo collects on a favor. I told her to stop or she might get possessed. That's an interesting question. Someone asked me that a while back. There's that whole transmaxing movement where these incels become women so that they can get attention. But I'm sure there are some that might do that, Mike. Witchcraft is on the rise. You know what? You just have to realize, let women go. If they want to walk, you just don't attach to them. Fine. Great. This is the problem. Men put so much emotional leverage, emotional foundation into these women that when they walk away, it blows everything apart. Men, the more nicer you are, the more you give, the more you provide, does not mean she loves you or is going to stick with you. That memo has long been digested by women. They say men do not get emotional attachment when having sex. I personally don't think that is true. That's why I don't even bother with it. I think a lot of sex is not emotional, but there was times when the ex-wife and I had some very good emotionally connected sex where it was, as the Bible talked about, a oneness. But a lot of the time it was me for, giving me a quickie. Women are actually psychopaths and sociopaths. Deleting yourself will only make her happy, not sad. Just move on and be happy. Exactly. A lot of men that do this think that it'll have an impact on the woman. The woman will just feel more pride and honor that, it's more of attention. X-Mask, my married friend can't even joke with his wife. He still has to simp and pay it back plus interest. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, a lot of guys are in that situation. Vero, you're either born that way or you're not. I think there are some that do it based on certain factors. Facts, Rad, don't attach your happiness to a woman. My cousin was in jail. He's younger than me. He had a daughter with a girl that was, she was run over by a car and killed the mother. He was in prison and he became homosexual, or he's in a relationship. I don't know how that worked. Ask my aunt and uncle. They're like, well, he was just there emotionally for him. So there you go. Don't date when you're down and out and trying to build. You will attract predators. Well said, brother. And women predators are much different. 304s are now reading devil-worshipping novels of them having sex with demons. They actually sell these books in stores. No surprise. Once they release the curse of Eve by being selfish, modern 304s, that's 98% of the rad. 98% are not recommended. She'll play the victim if you delete yourself. What a waste. Get happy and successful. They will hate it. Yeah, that's the worst thing. Unfortunately, the pain will drive a man to do that, but that's the worst thing you can do to impact a woman's brain. They'll use it. They'll just, another man deleting himself over me. I'm amazing. A lot of them think that way. She has good talking points, but she acquired those points from others. Women destroy the MRAs, and we kind of have to gatekeep the simplicity of the philosophy from being corrupted by various folks. Yeah, I don't really know who that is, but it is what it is. Don't reproduce because your kids will be indoctrinated. Well, having kids in today's modern world is not good. There's Gone with John. Good to see you, brother. What's John up to today? CJ, don't have kids because he might have a daughter. Well, who brought it up? 4-year-old little girls learn to manipulate their fathers because they cry. Mine did it. John's did it. I'm sure John Boston's kids did it. And all the other men with daughters. It's just part of the narrative. They know how to use their tears to get what they want. Mine did it. She'd cry and her little tears would come down, her little blonde hair. And as a dad, you love your kids, and there were times when I bought into it. It is what it is. There's John's channel. Thanks for putting it up. The problem is here's the problem. We say, yeah, we'd love this information if we had it. Would we have listened to it? Would I have listened to this information? Very few men listened. Like Timmy Kramer listened to his uncle. John Markell listened. People, Freaky Jersey Tell listened. He saw it. Scotty saw it. People have seen this. But would I have listened? Would I have listened and said, hey, man, 18 years ago, 1990, if someone said, hey, these women monkey branch, she's not yours, it's just your turn, there's nothing you can do, I would be like, yeah, right, I'll prove you wrong. Joseph, facts, I have another daughter doing Feb. I totally agree, Rad. Well, congrats for your upcoming daughter. Teach him well, brother. My sister screamed at Thanksgiving dinner that I hated women. When you don't agree or massage them, that's all that's all they can do is attack, especially the liberals. If you don't agree with them, you're 4 or 5 different words they label you as. BJ says, my girls did it too. There you go. They learn to manipulate their dad and then grow up to yes, I think that is a very solid argument. Absolutely, brother. My daughters tried to manipulate me with the tears, didn't work with me. Stopped that shit when it started. There you go. My dad, although it didn't work with my parents were very different parents. My sisters tried to cry, and my dad would say, get back to your room. But I think the Gen X, my ex-wife was more accommodating of tears. She was always bamboozled, hoodwinked by her daughter. No wonder she turned out the way she did. I would have said, not my girl. Yep, me too. That's what's scarring these 304s. Men are now listening and awakening. I think more and more men are realizing this. We do live in an anti-male society. Aaron from Far From Eden, no hatred towards her, but this isn't the one manosphere. I have a challenge with, now there are some women that we have women in the chat that come and that they're trying to help their boys. They're trying to understand modern day women. They were raised in very traditional families. They want to help their sons not get into relationships with some of these women, these modern day women. I agree with that statement, Wolf. I do too, love ladies. But the reality is, if I was to tell myself this, I wouldn't have listened, And a lot of these women in the manosphere they're women that might understand. They might have seen it in their own families growing up, the mom hoodwinking the father, but they're not men. They're still not men. They can't really understand a man's brain as we cannot understand a woman's brain. Thank you for trying to understand. Thank you for giving men a platform and to understand men's plight. But at the end of the day, you're not a man. You don't have a penis. My best friend Daniel deleted himself after his girlfriend broke up with him. Guess who was at his funeral trying to get sympathy from his mother, but ended up screwing one of his enemies a month later. There you go. Big Chris, that happens all the time. Rest in peace to your buddy Daniel. I don't trust women that have migrated into the manosphere grift. They can, and maybe for some men that are going through a breakup, maybe that's a nice segue into the philosophy. But with me, I could never listen to that Pearly things because she's too young. She's my daughter's age. Never been married, never had kids, never been through the court system. And so I applaud the fact that she tried to get men's issues. Now, was she grifted for it? Most likely. Did she want attention? Most likely. So it kind of, the message, it's hit and miss, basically. I don't subscribe to any woman with a channel like that. John says, my kids try that, but I don't fall for it. Yeah, not anymore. I don't deal with that crap anymore. Tyler Durden once said, we were born in a generation of women. And we have to navigate life dealing with women, and it's okay. We don't need to be scared of them. We just act stoically. We understand what's behind the grift. Is dating and marriage a grift? What's the definition of a grift? She's never in her right frame of mind. Well said. Women think they'll get 300 Trebek. What women think they'll get for hurting people for 300 Trebek. There you go, buddy. If you were born with a penis, you are now a threat. Oh, yes, we are massively hated. Skittles men are not hated. They're actually worshipped in this society. Feminism movement is one big shit test. Men failed it. We should have rejected it, says Big World. Well, we allowed it, 100 years ago, Big World. I don't have small hats except the billionaire class controlling us, but I'm aware spiritually that they are oppressed, what they are oppressed by and their natures is actually fascinating. And we just have to allow it and accept it. Women are women, men are men. Simple as that. Nothing will change. Women will sleep with the enemy. Think back to World War II and how the French women slept with the German. Well said, brother. How about the Ukrainian women on dating apps for Russian soldiers while their men are being slaughtered in war? Ladies that can sing and scream in rock bands, they're most likely bipolar. Them female nature grifters are full of shizzle. Again, what is a woman's currency from a majority of women? Attention. What women have, we have given them. Well said. I look at myself and say, she's cute, but she's a 304. Most of them are. Most of them have high body counts. Don't let them trick you into not being yourself as a man. It should be little effort in being with a girl, any girl. I want to look up the definition of something real quick, folks. John says, I'm so glad men have woken up. Where's Mysterio? He's supposed to be on here today. Democrats have more hate. Oh, yeah, that's the ruling elitist party there. They're the warmongers. Unfortunately, lots of guys can't get out of the blue pill malaise and will simp for the chameleons. Yeah, 100% grifter, a con man, someone who pulls confidence game, a person who swindles you by means of deception or fraud. Wants to deceive you. Interesting. Let's look at the word grift. See what grift means. Give us some more ideas. Let's see, we got, they don't say shizzle about her monkey branching, but immediately have an issue when a guy has standards. Of course they do. Rich, a WNBA player came out and said that they are better than men. Okay, let them say what they want. Just shut your ass up and suck on this dick. You can have any job you want as long as it's behind a kitchen sink, making me a sandwich. It turns me off when you meet a woman and second thing you hear from their mouth is financial hardship. Oh, that happens all the time. The verb grift, to obtain money illicitly as a confidence game. So using manosphere talking points to receive attention and financial increase through YouTube channels, through YouTube views. Look it up and see pearls. I always thought, I'd seen some clips about her. Yes, some of the things she did say about men and women and divorce and marriage is true. But she's too young to even understand herself. Rich Cooper is a smooth salesman. He said some good things. I'm not going to bash the guy. I think that a lot of men have found him through his channel, and it's a good thing. Do I agree with? He's a couple years younger than me, but he has a different take on things. Don't hate on the guy. If I was single and Jeff Bezos, there you go. I view repubs as male and Dems as females in their actions, policies, and emotional reaction. Well said. Well said, Shrug. Women vote with their emotions. Men vote with facts for the most part. Jay, in the chat. Good to see you. Where are you from, Jay? Rad is going down the rabbit hole of the PUAs of the cryptosphere. Look up the word gentleman dictionary. Gentleman, a man who opens the door for women, who takes a bullet for a woman. Pearl is a parrot. My dad would always say that, Arvero, nothing original. My dad would say when we were growing up, we'd have family prayer every night, and he'd say, quit saying parrot prayers. And a parrot prayer was saying the same prayer over and over, or just from what anybody else would say. You would copy the other talking or the prayer points of your brother or whatever. I like Rich, but at the same time, I don't. I think he's what I call a seesaw man. He's an interesting guy. I mean, he does have a lot of good content. There's been good content. I mean, even at one point, Donovan Sharp 5-6 years ago had a couple good little videos warning men about ladies. Although him as being the messenger and getting with his 50-year-old single mother who he railed against, takes a lot of credibility out. But he actually had a few videos that were red pill. Rolotom, and then they all left the red pill. Darius M his name used to be Darius MGTOW. He took the M MGTOW off. LFA used to be MGTOW. He took that off. It was because people got this weird thing. MGTOWs are bald, fat incels. They're angry. They're going to go, delete everyone in a supermarket. I mean, I don't know anything about video games, Wolf. Dogs are more loyal, says Rich, as long as you feed them. When she says, "Oh, I understand," no, she don't. Yeah, they don't understand. This afternoon, I made Chamberlain score more than 50 points. Oh, there you go. Good to see you, Simone, playing some video games. You can't make money off men telling them the truth. Of course. You want to be a woman that caters to a man's group. Try to sell them on how to get peace leave, and they'll make or tell them all the secrets of women. This hard ass businessman, gym guy, MGTOW shit, kind of cartoonish to me. As a man, be a man, but have your own personality and do you genuinely. There you go. I like Darius M. As well. He's a younger guy in Chicago. But, he used to be Darius MGTOW 5 years ago. But I think when you put MGTOW on your name, it'll flag you. And so he's grown quite a bit by removing it. So good for him. It's no longer our responsibility for their F-ups. Let them entertain their simps, but not me, says Ed. Good to see you, brother. Ed's got a couple kids. I think, 2 daughters, right? SCE says, most guys wonder why their relationships failed and look for people who could explain what to do. There you go. The PUAs give just enough red pill knowledge to be believable, then go into sales pitch. And that is exactly what I was saying. There are some guys that have found some of these channels, maybe have come. I think Big World is a Rich Cooper fan, but he found my channel, which is interesting because I don't know how I would be connected to an algorithm with Rich Cooper or even Rollo Tomasi, but maybe I have a title that connects with their title. But yeah, there are red pill nuggets, and then they try to get you in sales mode saying, no, the no-waltz, or you need to understand woman, or you didn't hold frame. There's no such frame. The only frame in a courthouse is the metal detectors you walk through. There's no frame dealing in child custody issues if the judge doesn't like you. So, and that's not being pessimistic. That's just reality. You can't hold on to this idea of love. Romantic love is just a flux of chemicals, same chemicals one would get. But we say it's romantic love, or we say it's she's my one and only. She's my soulmate based on these chemicals. See, our chemicals have misled us as well. Now we have to understand. Now we have to bring back why women monkey branch. We have to revisit these topics. We have to understand because we have to continually implant in our brains the true reality of relationships. I found the MGTOW truckers by accident looking to win back my ex. A lot of guys find MGTOW by how can I get my ex back? Absolutely, Wolf. Video games are good for a lot of things. Just don't spend 12 hours a day on them. From a divorce, not so bad dropping the 304 as a husband, but the other facet of losing much of the father role and presence with the kiddos is heartbreaking. Exactly, brother. Phil, that's exactly how I felt. The biggest failure in my life is not to have had kids. It's to see my kids go back and forth in a broken family and to see what it does to them emotionally. And it's still affecting them. My son and I, my 23-year-old and I went last night. He bought a computer. And I went with him because it was at a guy's house. And a nice computer. He's a gamer. He's all into engineering and stuff. And so I went with him. And after he drove down 20 minutes. And we chatted a lot, and he was driving his dad, and he bought a brand new Honda Civic 3 years ago. And after we went to dinner together, and he was talking. He's like, "Dad, these women are nuts," you know. And he said, you know, the hardest thing is when you and Mom got divorced. He stayed with his mother because he was very tight with his mother, but he's like, I needed you in my life, and I didn't choose to go be with you a lot because I was with my friends and my mom. I felt bad if my mom was sad. I go, your mom wasn't sad. Trust me. More and more men will find the red pill in the coming years. Well said, brother. But at the end of the day, what did I say? I said, you know, it never took I said, I love all my kids. I said, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm piggybacking on what Siat said. The pain of seeing my kids not staying with their father, with their own father, who wanted kids in the first place, that I still struggle with that. I still get upset about that. And I have my own ways of dealing with it. And that's why I've made such an effort with my boys to be there, to take them to trips, to literally understand them. And but yeah, it's still the worst part of my life. And I could say any man with kids that have gone through that, it's difficult. So you know, we didn't get married to have kids, to get divorced, to break families up. None of us did. But it happened, and we accept it, and we move on, and we try to do the best, but it impacts everybody. See, that's what a lot of women don't understand. They follow their emotions, eat, pray, love. They're like, please get me away from him. He's so abusive. And they don't understand the damage it does. I mean, my two boys have said to me, and they were 10 and 14 when we got divorced. That was 9 years ago. Now they're 19 and 23. Dad, this is the worst thing that ever happened to us. And I said, you know, and I didn't throw their mother under the bus. I don't do that. I think that's a beta male tactic. I think that's a symptom. I just said, you know what? Your mom and I grew apart. We had our challenges. We had our good times. We had our bad times. I tell you what, we both loved each other when our kids were born. We both loved and put as much love as we could. But eventually, you know, I was part of the problem. She was part of the problem. We have different challenges. Kids are growing up. And, you know, he said, Dad, I'm sorry. It's not your fault. I go, no, it is. It is my fault. Absolutely. It's both our faults. And I said, that's why I'm here for you. Whenever you need me, I will always be here. I will do whatever I can do if it's 2 a.m. 2030 is fast approaching. These 304s have no clue what's coming for them. They're going to take, Trump's going to take our rights away. They have more rights than men, man. Come on. Come on. We're mostly on the same path, but some are at different stages. That's part of why it's a philosophy and not a movement. Philosophy is an evolved way of thinking. Movements can be corrupted. Well said. And you know what? My channel is attractive to some people. It resonates with others, while other channels resonate with others. And it's great. We all have different flavors and delivery on how to warn men and connect with men that are going through this. John is a single dad trying to get by with a psycho ex still. You know what? I appreciate you guys telling me, you know, that, yeah, you're sad for what we went through it. And I'm just trying to give men advice that are in this situation or not, the difficulty of the kids that leave you. I have a big heart for my kids. I will die for them. I will give up every last cent to help them. I'm not going to be a Disneyland dad and give them money if there's some sort of toxic drug addict, but I'm going to help them in every possible way. Women deserve an Oscar the way they put on a show to manipulate their children and taking their side. Well said, Big Chris. Happens all the time. Realist vision. Social media and dating apps have made monkey branching easy for women. It is about time these simps woke up. The toxic cycle will continue until men wise up. Well said, brother. We just speak the truth here, Joseph. Single dads are a better chance of producing kids that will be more beneficial to society. Well said. JD, the no-fault stance is pretty beta, Rad. There's always one party that is clearly the degenerate in a divorce. I'm not going to disagree with that statement. I would say that we're probably on the same page. I had faults within it. So did she. I tried to make it work. She did not. So maybe that will give you who's responsible. She did file for divorce. So yes, I would agree with that. Much respect for you, sir, and everyone in here. But I do appreciate that comment, JD, because it is true. You have a very chill delivery. Love making you laugh from time to time. The children are ones who truly suffer after divorce, says Slam. Children need a stable father and mother. Good to see you, Slam. Slam's raising his son by himself because his baby mother is no longer on this earth. And he's going to do a great job, and he's doing a great job. So you guys go subscribe to Slam Cave's channel. He put posts with him and his boy. Show him the love. My friend's ex tried to coach his son to say he blanked him. Women do that, guys. They'll figure out any possible way to get you against the wall. Women are making a lot of videos complaining about men playing video games. Well, here's the deal, Rich. A woman's boyfriend is her phone and social media. The boy's boyfriend now is a video game console. Who made it possible? Women. To women, the children are pawns in the divorce and chess game. Makes it way worse for the kids. I always wondered if we were still married at this point, if what my 19 and 23 were. I think they'd be more heathenistic, teepee in houses or something. Yeah, I agree with that statement, SCE. Kids are the true victims of single mothers. Well said. North-South, good to see you, brother. Women don't want to be forced to stay in a marriage, but most men are staying in a marriage by financial force or threat of losing their kids. I tried everything. I didn't want my kids to be raised in two households without a father 100% or a mother without. I did everything. Yes, I would have given up and sacrificed a lot of my mental and emotional state, but I was willing to do that for the sake of my kids. And I would do that again. I would have waited till they're out of the house and on their way to go and fulfill my world. And people say, Rad, why would you do that? Because I had kids not to live a selfish life for myself. I did my kids to sacrifice my life for them, to extend my seed and my posterity and to give them a launch ramp. I would have literally, and I did put my life on hold. I did put my character and personality, for the most part, on hold to do that. And I was fine with that because that's what I wanted. I knew my life would never be the same with kids. I knew I wouldn't be able to skate ramps at 1 a.m. when my kids were sleeping in the house. I knew my friends, most of them would change. My habits would change. But I was willing to do that because I wanted the greater thing, which is to be a father and raise kids. Well, Simone, it might be based on, how he grew up as well. The anxiety and fear I felt when my parents discussed divorcing. Thank God it never happened. My sister and I were 10 and 11, or 10 and 8, and my parents, we would hear them fighting. We would stay on the stairs, just as Wolf said, with fear and anxiety, wondering if our family was falling apart. It's either the game or me, says Jerome Markel. Men learn the power of making and saving money. Compound interest is wonderful, as well as paying cash for a vehicle or home. Well said, brother. Learn about money. That's another thing. Money helps. Captain Rusty Rivers in the chat. Good to see Captain Rusty. But that is the reality. Women have the tendency and in the biology to monkey branch. Be careful. Don't let that happen to you. If it's happened to you once, it'll happen again. And when it happens, you walk the fuck away. You don't say anything. Don't give them any opportunity to tell them why they monkey branched. That'll even make it even more stronger on your side. Alcohol makes a lot of things worse, Simone. Sigma Roden, good to see you, brother. A lot of women don't like video games because it takes the attention off them. That's why they don't want you fixing up your F-150 from 1971. Right? They don't want you hanging out with your buddies and playing racquetball. They want all the attention on themselves. So it's no different. A video game system is just the equivalent of a guy hanging out with his buddies playing racquetball and having beer. Same thing. Women believe they'll find the next guy will be the guy. That's what they think. Let them think that. Let them think that. Delusional women for 300 Trebek. JC from Texas. Be your own bank, avoid debt. And we don't need much. We don't need much to live. I'm very Lebowski about shit now. If she leaves, she leaves. I have a life to build. That's a great thing about the Big Lebowski. Although, do you pay your milk with 79 cents written on a check? That would be dope. But he let everything just, there's a great message in Big Lebowski, which is he doesn't give a fuck. He let everything fall off his back, just was non-resistant to everything. Again, what you resist persists. When you're non-resistant, be like water. Water is non-resistant. Wherever it flows, it makes a path. It doesn't get stopped by a boulder. It goes around the boulder. Non-resistance is literally something that men need to think about. But we resist because we're carnal. We have an emotional brain system within us as well. Again, not like women, although there are a lot of men that are more emotional now. And we have to learn to let things, what happened an hour ago, what somebody did to you, what something happened to you, it already happened. You can't fix it. It's already happened. So you have to accept it. And once you accept it, you can move on. Divorce in pain mode made me addicted to black coffee. I started like, well, what have I gotten through anyway? And now I only drink black. No, when I'm in fasting, I'm not a big coffee guy, but I will drink black coffee, nothing in it, because it's good for autophagy. And it's pretty filling even in your fast and doesn't break your fast. 304s get mad when a guy buys a nice truck and puts his attention to that instead. How many men have gone through divorces where the women come after their trucks? Remember, what you like, they want to take away. I miss banging. I've had some good bangs with some crazies, yeah, but there's risk and rewards on that. You got to think forward. Well said, brother. Be like water, my friend, says Seraphim. Good to see Seraphim in the chat. Yeah, water is non-resistant, and you want to be non-resistant. That's the only way: peace, quiet, and freedom. And allow the women to be. Women are women. You ain't going to change it. Just accept it and find joy in it. You don't have to deal with that shit anymore. They all become jealous, especially of muscle cars. Good to see Men's Daily in the chat. Check out his channel. He's been making some good content lately. But that's the reality we live in, guys. Women are going to monkey branch till the end of the world. And then when the end of the world comes, they're going to come back to the world and begin to monkey branch again. We accept it. We accept if we're penniless today, because we don't have to be penniless tomorrow. We can literally change our lives by understanding certain elements and learning from others, right? Learn from others that have gone through the situation. How many men in this chat have been married, divorced, had their kids alienated? How many men have been falsely alligatored? How many men have been monkey branched? How many men have been ghosted? How many men have been cheated on? You know, it is what it is. But there are dick men too. They're all douchebag men. It goes both ways. But learn this to have peace, quiet, and freedom. Peace, quiet, and freedom you don't need to be a billionaire for peace, quiet, and freedom. Will it help? Sure. You'll have more problems as a billionaire than you do as a guy that has 500,000 in the bank. People are going to be all over your jock then. Female nature, the crafty little devil. Well said. If only Rusty knew about crazy women. Yeah, he did a video on a crazy gal the other day, or an experience he had. I understand how 304s operate, and I accept it for what it is. Absolutely. We have our own issues. We sure do. Everyone's spitting facts here tonight, or this morning. Master School and Fighter was dope. Watched it last night. Master Schulen Fighter. I've not seen that. I noticed if a man is able to go through the initial trauma, his life gets much better in the end. Bingo. Women, on the other hand, feel over the moon after the divorce, but then they slow. Yes. Women, very well said, Betty. Women, for the first 2 years, they're in high heaven. They're eat, pray, love mode. They're dating. They're getting lots of attention. And then the air comes out. See, no one's going to marry them. Or if they marry, it's going to be some, chump. But men struggle in those first 2 years. We're in pain. We're going through addiction challenges. We're not seeing our kids. We're drinking maybe a little too much. And then we get through it, and then our lives become much greater and better. Roll on 96. Had a crazy ex-girlfriend. It was freaky fun, but broke up was hell. And you've been through it. I think every man should go through a breakup. Every young man. Most guys that don't go through a breakup are going to want to get into relationships because they're like, well, I've never been through a breakup. But without going through a breakup, I wouldn't be here speaking to you. Good to see Gerald Montagna. Each of those, how many questions apply to me? How many days and how many lays? Rusty's got quite a few videos he's coming on. Good to see Shaka in the chat. Check out Shaka's channel as well. Someone post that link. What I find fascinating about video games is what I can give a second life to those that passed away. Yeah, I mean, I think video games have their place. Just don't become addicted to video games. JC says, in my mid-teens, I planted a garden in the backyard. My dog became jealous that the garden was getting my attention. Dug it all up a few days later when I went, wow. Wow. Crazy. Well, guys, that is the reality. 12 signs of monkey branching. I'm going to put that in the chat or the video description. You guys have a great Saturday and Sunday. Enjoy yourselves. Appreciate all of your comments. Appreciate all of your, I didn't see that comment, Trogue. Appreciate all of your participation. Even going out to the channels that we highlight on here as well. All this does is just gives us a community where, you know, we can express challenges, we can express triumphs, we can get out and do the things that we need to do. I personally agree with Richard Pryor that you haven't really experienced being a man until you got either heartbroken, your kids used as weapon, or been in a divorce. And you know, that's great you said that, Men's Daily, but we don't want that to happen to men. But it does help shape a man, sure, even those painful breakups. You guys have a great one. I'm out. See you on the next one. Peace.